Hi students, welcome to yet another session of my class. We are discussing The Fish by Elizabeth Bishop. Let us continue the poem. I think all of you understand the previous class, that is the first two stanzas of the poem. Let us continue the poem. First of all, I read the lines, then I will explain you. I thought of the coarse white flesh packed in like feathers, the big bonds and the little bonds, the dramatic reds and blacks of his shiny entrails, and the pink swim bladder like a big peony. I looked into his eyes, which were far larger than mine, but shallower and yellowed, the irises backed and packed with tarnished tinfoil, seen through the lenses of old scratched isinglass. Yes, the last class we discussed about a fishing trip by the poet, and she caught a fish, that is a huge tremendous fish. The fish is half out of the water near the little rendered boat, and she closely observed the characteristic features of the fish. What is its appearance? Then she introduced some colors to the readers regarding the fish. Then she attributes human characteristics to the fish, that is consider it as venerable, that is a brave warrior, etc. And at last, yes, we see that it was not died because it was still in the hands of the speaker. That is where his gills were breathing in the terrible oxygen that is going to die. They are struggling to escape from the hands of speaker. Let us continue the topic. I thought of the coarse white flesh packed in like feathers, the big bonds and the little bonds. Suddenly, she thinks about, yes, thinking of it as food. I thought of the coarse white flesh. But suddenly, a boy, she thought of it as food, that is, its white flesh. Then packed in like feathers, the big bonds and the little bonds, the dramatic reds and blacks of his shiny entrails. Shiny entrails means its intestine. So, yes, she uses another simile that describes fish as something more beautiful than what it is. She is not afraid of the, yes, it's gross stuff. This shows how carefully the speaker is considering the catchy and probably thinking of the process of preparing the fish to eat, that is, removing the guts, slicing the meat of the bone. Yes, that is, I thought of the coarse white flesh. That means she is thinking of it as food, preparing as food. Packed in like feathers, the big bonds and the little bonds, the dramatic reds and blacks of his shiny entrails. The dramatic reds and blacks of his shiny entrails, that is the inner part of the fish. That shiny entrails means its intestine. She is thinking of it all other features. And sometimes she considers it is something beautiful than normally it is. And the pink swim bladder like a big peony. And pink swim bladder. Another color is she introduced to the readers. Pink. Then reds and blacks of its shiny entrails. Another colors. That is throughout the poem we can see so many colors. That means she introduced so many colors to the readers, and color is important to Elizabeth Bishop. And the dramatic reds and blacks, that means that red black color of its intestine. That first of all she is thinking of it as food, preparing it as food, its white flesh, then its big bonds and little bonds. Then think about the inner part of the fish, that is the dramatic reds and blacks of its shiny entrails. Then and the pink swim bladder. Then she, yes, closely observed the pink swim bladder like a big peony. She compares the swim bladder like a big peony. Peony means garden plant. with large, round, red, pink or white flowers. That's why she considers this swim bladder as pink. It is compared something to a flower, that is garden plant with large, round, red, pink or white flowers. Swim bladder means the air-filled structure in the fish's body regulating its buoyancy. So she is closely observed this fish, each and every features of the fish. I looked into his eyes, which were far larger than mine, but shallow and yellowed. The irises backed and packed, with a tarnished tinfoil seen through the lenses of old scratched eyes in glass. This part is important. So many times university questions was asked regarding describe the eyes of the fish. I looked into his eyes. Finally, these two opponents, sometimes she considers this enemy, this fish as an enemy. Enemy in the sense means there is a battle between the speaker, that is the poet, and the fish. So finally, the two opponents make eye contact. I looked into his eyes, and which were far larger than mine. And she closely observed the fish's eyes, and she identified that it were far larger than mine. That means these lines clearly state the human versus fish battle. And the speaker notices that the fish's eyes are larger than the speaker. And this must be a pretty large fish. That's why its eye may be such bigger than the speaker. But shallower and yellowed. The irises backed and packed with a tarnished tin foil. But the fish's eyes might be bigger, larger, but they are shallower and yellowed in color. Another color is introduced, that is its fish. This fish's eyes may be larger or bigger than speaker, but it is shallower and yellowed in color, with the irises backed and packed with a tarnished tin foil seen through the lenses of old scratched isinglass. Isinglass is gelatin from fish used in making jellies, glue, etc. Here, Bishop is getting creative in her description of the fish's eyes. But she is saying they look yellowish, then vaguely shiny. That means it is not at all energetic or shiny, and scratched because of its old battle, battle with some others, and his eyes are scratched, vaguely shiny and scratched. And the fish eyes look nothing like human eyes at all. The irises backed and packed with a tarnished tin foil. That means the sunken and lackluster irises, because its energy is almost lost. There is no shining in the eyes. It is the sunken and lackluster irises. That means loss of energy or vigor in the eyes. And isinglass, I already told you, is a white transparent substance used for, yes, windows or making jellies, glues, etc. And here she described its eyes very clearly. That shows the pain and loss of blood. I already told you it is half out of water and this hook is still attached to the mouth, its mouth. That means the wound is still bleeding. He is going to die. He is struggling to escape from the hands of the speaker. So the pain and loss of blood make the eyes of the fish look dull like tin foil, which loses its luster, its energy, its vigor because of that bleeding wound and the pain when it is seen through opaque glass. That was the expression here she described regarding the eyes of the fish. That may be university question. So many times university question asked from this part. Describe the eyes of the fish. How Bishop, yes, describe the eyes of the fish. Then I will read. Then I read the lines. Then I will explain you. They shifted a little, but not to return my stare. It was more like the tipping of an object toward the light. I admired his sullen face, the mechanism of his jaw. And then I saw that from his lower lip, if you could call it a lip, grim, wet, and weapon-like, hung 5 old pieces of fish line, or 4 and a fire leader, with the swivel still attached with all their 5 big hooks ground firmly in his mouth. Yes, they shifted a little, yes, but not to return my stare. The fish's eyes move a little bit. That means he is still alive. His eyes shifted a little. The eyes of the fish that is moved a little bit. That means the fish is still alive. But not to return my stare, but not to look at the speaker who is studying him so carefully. And it was more like the tipping of an object toward the light. This eyes shifted, and she wants us to know what this moment is like. This bishop is trying to explain the present situation to the readers. Bishop also momentarily has us consider the fish as an object. For a moment, Bishop considers this fish as a mere object. It was more like the tipping of an object toward the light. Never, for a moment, she considers it as not a living thing. It is considers just as an object. It was more like the tipping of an object toward the light. And suddenly, I admired his sullen face, the mechanism of his jaw. Yes, suddenly she attributed human feelings to that fish. I admired, I respected his sullen face, that energy loss, sullen, that gloomy face. Why it is gloomy? Because he is going to die, and the pain and loss of blood make the face, eyes, and everything dull or sullen. So I admired his sullen face, the mechanism of his jaw, and from these lines, yeah, we can understand that the poet is trying to attribute human feelings to this fish, sullen like an old man. And again, and then I saw that from his lower lip, yes, here the fish is back out of the realm of the living and described as something mechanical. That is the mechanism of his jaw. And moreover, the speaker admire both of these features. That is its mechanical aspect. Then for a moment, she considers it as an object, and moreover, she attributes human feelings to this fish. I admired his sullen face, the mechanism of his jaw. Here she attributes two feelings. So she considers this fish in a two-way. That is, first I admire, I respect. That is, attribute human feelings to that fish. Then she considers the mechanical part or mechanism of his jaw. And then I saw that from his lower lip, if you could call it a lip, yes, Bishop again going back and yes, considers or back and forth between humanizing the fish and describing it as a mere object. Then I saw his jaw, that from his lower lip, that is the lower part of the mouth. Then I saw that from his lower lip, if you could call it a lip, if you can call it as a lip, yes, then consider it as a lip like a human being. Grim, wet and weapon-like hung 5 old pieces of fish line. I saw something that is, yes, hung from his mouth or the lower lip. What is that? If you could call it a lip, grim, that is stern or severe, wet and weapon-like, hung 5 old pieces of fish line. Yes, some weapon-like wire is, yes, hung from the mouth. That is hung 5 old pieces of fish line that I already told you. This fish engaged in this our fish, it was engaged in so many battles earlier. As a result of that battles, yes, 5 old pieces of fish line, that hook, it now it is still attached to its mouth, that is grim, wet and weapon like. So that the thread from that hook, that is still hung from its mouth, hung 5 old pieces. That means maybe 5 times he engaged in a battle with some others. Hung 5 old pieces of fish line or 4 and a wire leader with the swivel still attached. Wire leader means a short piece of wire that connects a fish line with the fish coop. That means that thread that is still attached in his mouth. That is 5 old pieces. That means the fish was engaged 5 times earlier in battle. So a short piece of wire that connects a fish line, that is still attached to his mouth, or 4 and a wire leader with the swivel still attached. Swivel means a device that joins two parts, leaving the moving part to pivot freely. That is still attached in his lower lip with all their 5 big hooks. All these 5 big hooks are still attached in the lower lip of this fish, and that is drawn firmly in his mouth. Drawn firmly in his mouth means this fish has not only, yes, fish line trailing from his lower lip, but actual hooks and pieces of fishing equipment grown into his jaw. It is how carefully she examined the fish. At this point, we have to consider that the speaker is thinking of something other than how good the fish will taste fried with a tartar sauce or something like that. Yes, she attributes so many feelings to this particular fish. She thinks in so many ways. Sometimes it as an object, then considers it as human aspects, so that is consider it as, that is attribute human feelings, then closely observe the mechanical part or mechanism of his jaw, then uh, consider as it as an object. Yes, and we have to consider that the speaker is thinking of something other than how good the fish will taste fried. From these lines we can understand that it is a venerable venerable fighter. Venerable fighter. That is, she presents the fish as a heroic warrior. That means 5 old pieces are still attached to his lower lip or mouth. That means she was escaped 5 times, or she or he won the battles. That is, he won 5 battles. That means she attributed human qualities, and moreover she presents the fish as a heroic warrior who has fought many wars and encountered many dangers. But now in the hands of the speaker, it did not show any sign of escape or struggling to escape from the hands of the speaker. It is silent, and it is going to die, and its energy is lost, and the speaker is closely observed the features of this fish. I think all of you understand this 4 stanzas. There is a homework for you, and the homework is write a note on the next stanzas, that is 3, 4, 5, 6. Write a note on the, that is, write a summary of these stanzas, write your homework and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again, and we will continue in the next session.